All right, so we're back in Austin, Texas, and I want to show you guys something. When you're with someone or watching something on a day-to-day basis, you don't see like the incremental changes. But when you leave for a period of time and come back, you notice like the changes seem so drastic. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example of this. I got home to Austin, I don't know, like 2 days ago. But before I left, I was growing corn. And this is what my corn looks like now. 15 more days till we have harvest. Okay, so have you ever seen an elephant at a zoo or safari? And they're typically restrained by a small metal chain on their ankle or on their leg. It should be so easy for a 12,000 pound animal to escape from that. And it is. The elephant could easily break away. But the catch is that when that elephant was an infant, it was restrained using the same chain. And at that time in its life, that chain was strong enough to restrain it and keep it from breaking free. Anytime the elephant tried to pull away or break free, the metal would pierce into its skin and it would injure the elephant. And as the elephant starts to grow up, it never forgets that pain. So it starts to believe that it's impossible to break free. These are assumed constraints and limiting beliefs. It's like you can't do this, you can't do that, or you can't get a job because you don't have a college degree. But the reality is not necessarily all those things are true. You have to question them, and you have to ask, what if it is possible? What if I could do it? What would change if it was possible? Over the past 2 weeks, there's a story from a book that I read that keeps coming to my mind. And it's a story about this guy, Jerry Weintraub. He came from not much and ended up creating some of the most incredible experiences for people and for himself. He ends up managing people like Elvis Presley and taking him on tour, and Frank Sinatra. These are all things that people would have deemed impossible. Like, no way you're gonna rent, a baseball stadium and take Elvis on tour and rent out a baseball stadium and have him perform. There's not a chance. Yet he ended up doing almost everything that he had set his mind to. The power of belief will take you so far, and a step further is having other people that believe in you. And that's the beauty and benefit of a community, having all these like-minded and like-hearted people around you who all have a shared mission, a shared desire to create something, to build something. This year, or more like the past 6 months, I've felt a lot more comfortable because things are just more established now than they were a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, we were just starting Creator Camp. And I haven't taken as much risk as I did the previous year. And it's interesting because I read something this week that talked about how companies, over time, they start to rely more on data and become more data-driven and analytical. But what got them to that point to begin with was the founding team's intuition. There was nothing there, but those teams or that person or that individual saw something. They could feel it, or just intuitively they knew that something was there, and they went out and built it, and it proved to be true. But then over time they start to stray away from their intuition and rely more on data, because that's something that can be counted and something that can be proven. But there's something there. It got you to this point, and you can't just neglect it once you reach a certain point in your journey. And the point I'm trying to get to is that not everything that counts can be counted. And the same goes with community. You can't really quantify this. There's so much potential energy, creative ideas that are overlapping, and there's this ripple effect that over time almost everyone attached in one way, shape, or form will see more opportunities come their way, and it's kind of this rising tide lifts all ships mentality. We have a list of principles on our whiteboard downstairs in our house. And it's there because it serves as a reminder for these are the things that we want to live by. And not every decision we make is going to be logical or rational or financial. We have to make principle-based decisions because that's who we are.